Welcome to the Global Quilt Connection, where you will meet quilt teachers from around the world who are offering independent enrollment workshops and events. First up is Daisy Aschehoug.
I'm Daisy Aschehoug, and I make quilts with bright colors and lots of curves. My family and I moved to Norway in 2017, and we're currently on the peninsula just south of Oslo called Nesodden. I've got a little studio in a place called Nesodparken, which is an old hospital that's been converted to space for creative businesses. I've been sewing since 2010 and designing quilts for magazines since 2016. The quarter circle square is my favorite building block. It's elegant, easy to replicate with precision, and even though many vintage quilts have this shape, most quilts with quarter circle squares have a very contemporary feel to them. I've sewn tons of quarter circle squares. When you combine that with my improvisationally pieced quilts, I've sewn thousands of curved seams. If you're interested in the basics of sewing curves, I offer 2 quick workshops that will give you the skills you need to tackle any pattern from your favorite designer or any quilt design that's been floating around in your head. The Curve Lab for Precision and the Curve Lab for Improvisation are 3-hour workshops. The first part covers general concepts in a lecture format, followed by demonstrations. The second half of the workshop is where you'll sew on your own and ask questions that come up while you're working. I also offer 5-hour workshops on quilt projects, including spin-off, lantern rouge, and pebble pop. When you take one of these workshops, you'll get cutting instructions in advance, and during the workshop we'll cover all the steps to making your quilt, including tips specific to each quilt project and various quilting options. To sign up for one of my classes, pick a topic and check availability on my website. Each class is live. The date and time will be in a drop-down menu under the class name in my shop. Classes are limited to 23 participants and will be held on the Zoom platform. When I teach, I include pre-recorded videos as well as live demonstrations in response to questions and situations that come up in class. You'll get overhead shots as I cut and trim shapes, angled shots of my sewing machine and ironing table, and direct shots of me explaining everything as we go. A recording of each class will be available afterwards for 2 weeks. In March of 2021, I'll release 4 on-demand classes: Giant Nested Curves, Hand Piecing a Flat-Felled Seam, Illustrator for Quilt Design, and Illustrator for creating foundation paper piecing patterns. Go to my website and get on the mailing list to be notified when those are available. I'm so excited that you're exploring the option of taking quilting classes online. I hope you'll join me for an upcoming event. If you have any questions, my email is daisy@warmfolk.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram @warmfolk.
Thank you, Daisy. Now we will hear from Kathie Beltz.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathie Beltz, and welcome to my studio here in Southern New Hampshire. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been quilting for 25 years. It's a long time. I've been teaching for 16 years, and I'm also a quilt judge. I've been judging for 13 years. Back in 2013, I became a certified instructor for Studio 180 Design, which is Deb Tucker's tool and technique company. In 2017, I launched my own line of quilt patterns, most of which are companion patterns to the Studio 180 Design tools. But of course, my latest adventure is virtual teaching. So let me show you what I have to offer in classes right now. My classes are live classes. They're not pre-recorded. So we will be sewing together on any project that we'll be working on. My first class is quick and easy flying geese. So with the wing clipper and the fast flying geese technique, we'll be making 4 flying geese at a time using 1 large square and 4 small squares. The flying geese units come out slightly oversized, so we'll be trimming them down with the wing clipper to make them perfect. Since, of course, it is a fast and easy technique, we'll be making lots of flying geese in the class. This quilt that's pictured here is made entirely of flying geese, and I will show you how to design with flying geese by changing out the colors and the values in the different pieces, the 3 triangles in the flying geese units. So I will show you how to make the star and all 3 borders in this quilt. My other class is Rick Rack. This is one of my newer patterns. It's based on the shaded 4-patch design. We'll be making short shaded 4-patch blocks in 2 colorways to make this quilt. Again, we'll be making the blocks slightly oversized and trimming them down with the Tucker trimmer. So if you have any more questions, please check out my website at kathiebeltz.com, like me on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, you could always email me directly at kathy@kathiebeltz.com. Thank you for joining me today. If you or a group of your friends are interested in any other classes that I might have on my website, please feel free to email me and let me know. Take care.
Thank you, Kathie. Our next presenter is Patricia Belyea.
Hello, I'm Patricia Belyea, and I would like to teach you how to add curve piecing to your quilt compositions. I'm talking about curves that you design yourself and add to your quilts with confidence. And when you're done, your quilt top is perfectly flat. Moving away from straight line to curve piecing is like being given the keys to the universe. It opens up so many creative possibilities. I have 2 online workshops that I offer via Zoom. The workshops consist of 5 3-hour online sessions with 2 weeks in between to work on your projects. The first is creativity and complex curves. Here you learn to make a top filled with curvaceous piecing. You start with making a complex curve block, then you move to continual curves, curve compositions, circles and squares, and curved connectors. The second workshop is creativity and inserted curves. This is a counterintuitive technique. First you make a gridded background, then you slash into the grid to add the curved elements. Everything is pieced, everything is flat. In this workshop you play with inserted lines, loops, and curved forms. Here's a little bit about me. I'm the founder and co-owner of Oaken Arts in Seattle, where I work with my daughter, Victoria. We import vintage Japanese textiles, and we sell them in our online store. What about you? You're an accomplished quilter with many ideas about adding curves to your quilt designs. Or maybe you're just seeking to add another technique to your repertoire of skills. Or maybe you just want to jumpstart your creativity. Perfect. I'm looking for eager students who are ready to take on the challenge of designing and piecing curved quilt compositions. To learn more and register, please visit the Oaken Arts website. Each Zoom workshop caps at 24 students, and they're timed for students from Perth, Australia, through North America to London in the UK. If the workshop you're seeking is sold out or not listed, please contact me. Being on the interested list gives you the opportunity to register before a workshop is offered publicly. See you in class.
Thank you, Patricia. Our next presenter is Anna Buzzalino.
Hello, I am Anna Buzzalino, an artist, teacher, author, and lecturer living in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I have a passion for great workmanship and exceptional surface design, and it is that passion that goes into making my award-winning quilts and the information I share in my workshops. I have written about some of the techniques that I use in my work, and those articles have appeared in Quilting Arts magazine and Needle Pulling Thread, among others, and been shared through appearances in Quilting Arts TV. I also have 2 workshop DVDs, Machine Stitching and Painting Quilts, and Quilting and Dyeing Serendipity. There are 4 lectures currently available: The Quilter in Me, What is Creativity, What is Color, an Introduction, and Creativity in Times of COVID. Please go to my website for details. My goal is to make the online experience as close to an in-person one as possible. My workshops are suitable for all skill levels and can be customized to meet your group's needs. Some of my workshops offer optional kits to save the students having to source materials they may not have or be able to easily find. I can also offer workshops in Spanish. Puedo ofrecer cursos en español. I post classes monthly for individuals, and you can find them under the online courses tab in the store on my website. For a complete list of workshops, as well as pricing and my contract, please check my website. Some of my most popular workshops are rubbing some paint sticks on fabric, where you'll learn how to make your own rubbing plates and use them on fabric with paint sticks. We'll explore different techniques to use paint sticks to embellish fabric and create personal prints. In Rocks, Pebbles, and Stones, Oh My, I'll show you how to construct these 3D rocks and 2 different methods to incorporate them into your art pieces. No sewing machines are needed, as all work is done by hand. Both of these classes have optional kits. In Make Your Quilt Sing with Digital Imagery, Editing Photos in PowerPoint, I'll walk you through using PowerPoint as a way of editing photos and preparing them for printing onto fabric paper or transfer paper. This is the perfect companion to my Introduction to Transfer Artist Paper workshop. Sophisticated monoprinting with masks and stencils is one of my favorite workshops, where you'll discover a world of possibilities with this monoprinting technique that gives you the ability to print any shape you'd like. You have heard from me, Anna Buzzalino. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my website to receive news and updated information on new online courses. And follow me on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Hope to see you on the other side of Zoom.
Thank you, Anna. Next up is Sheila Christensen.
Hi, my name is Sheila Christensen and welcome to my shop here in New Zealand. This is where I've been teaching classes for 10 years and also where I get all my inspiration and ideas for making quilts. A couple of years ago I released my first book, and it's called Quilts with an Angle, and it's published by C&T. And this is my second book called The Triangle Block Tool. So as you can see, I'm quite mad on triangles and triangle-based quilts. The quilt behind me is called Trendsetters, and if you've watched the quilt show with Alex Anderson and Ricky Timms, I appeared in a December issue of the quilt show, and I showed this quilt amongst others of mine, and I did show a little bit of the fussy cutting that we did for this quilt. So I would like to introduce you to my website. It's quiltwithsheila.com. So let's take a look at the library. We'll start down here, and you can see the Trendsetters quilt that I've just been telling you about. So if we click on that, you're going to get all of the lessons for making this whole quilt. So when I click on the Walser block, you're going to get a video for choosing fabrics. We've got one for cutting, and a couple of videos that cover the sewing. So if we click on the sewing part 1, then you can see that you can play the video and you can make comments underneath, ask me questions, and I'll be there to help you. The other class that I teach in here is the Patchwork and Quilting Techniques, and this is my go-to sampler quilt. I teach all sorts of techniques for quilters, beginning through to experienced quilters. Now, another amazing feature about this platform I'm using is that as well as getting the lessons on your computer, you can also download an app for your smartphone or your iPad. And so when you're sitting sewing, you can still access all the videos. So if I wanted to go to the waltzer video, I can click on my phone and then I can watch the lesson. Flip the triangle over, and you can see when I do that, that this blunt tip here matches up with the edge of the trapezoid, which makes it really easy to line the pieces up. So I do hope you'll join me, and I look forward to meeting you at Sheila's quilt party.
Kia ora, Sheila. Now we'll hear from Tara Faughnan.
Hi everyone, my name is Tara Faughnan and I live and work in Oakland, California. I'm a quilter, a quilt teacher, quilt pattern designer, and textile designer by trade, and I've been teaching live online classes on Zoom since about July. All of my classes are available for guilds as well as for individuals. I offer classes on my own platform, but I welcome the opportunity to come and present or teach to guilds as well. Most of my classes are technique based and they focus on color, design, proportion, value, all of the things that go into making a really successful quilt top. I also have some webinars available on color and design, creating color palettes, as well as a trunk show that covers my 20-year journey as a quilt maker. The following is just a sampling of the classes that I have online. I could only fit so much into this 3-minute video, so please feel free to email me if you have any questions or want more information. One of my most popular classes is Color Interaction, where we delve into the importance of value, proportion, and how colors work together. I offer 2 different Lone Star classes, both a scrappy Lone Star as well as a strip piece Lone Star. Both classes go in depth into tips and tricks for piecing, as well as pressing solutions, covers Y-seams, color, value, and all the good stuff associated with this iconic quilt. I'm also a big fan of freezer paper. I have several classes on that as well. We cover drafting, preparing the freezer paper for use, how to cut fabric, and there are lots of wonderful in-depth video tutorials that go along with live demos for these classes. Log cabins are a favorite of mine. In this class, we cover 60-degree diamond blocks, including color, value, how to make your own templates to have a wonderfully precise block that goes together really easily. The Give and Take class is a great intro to improvisational piecing, and we cover color placement and how to create a very successful quilt that looks complex but is actually quite simple to put together. I offer 2 versions of the double wedding ring class, a machine pieced as well as a hand pieced, with wonderful instruction on both methods. I have several webinars, one of which is color palettes, where we delve into the importance of inspiration, proportion, and why things fall apart. Also, I have a webinar on color and design. Really fun, full of informative information on my design process and my approaches to color over the years.
Thank you, Tara. Our next presenter is Sandy Fitzpatrick.
My name is Sandy Fitzpatrick and I live in Cary, North Carolina. I'm an applique quilt pattern designer. My business is called Hissy Fitz Designs. I'm also a teacher and have taught nationally for the American Quilter Society, Road to California, and many guilds across the United States. I have classes on my website that are 3 hours each. They're offered on the Zoom platform and the class size is limited so that you will be able to have the instruction that you need. My Fusible Machine Applique class allows you to choose any of my designs to work on in class. You may choose a smaller project such as the applique coasters or a 12-inch block or something larger like a wall hanging or quilt. A 3-hour class is not enough time to complete the whole quilt, but you will be able to learn the techniques to be able to finish it on your own after class. You will learn all about fusibles and how to decide which stitches will work best for your project. I will teach you the best techniques to stitch your applique pieces down using either a blanket stitch, a satin stitch, or even some of the decorative stitches on your machine. I also offer a 3-hour class in free motion quilting. I will teach you how to set up your quilting space. We'll talk about needles and threads, and we will practice many different quilting designs on quilt sandwiches. I'll even show you a way to layer your quilts so that you never have to get down on your knees again. After this class, you will have the courage to tackle that stack of UFOs that you have stuffed in your closet. I have a 2-camera setup so that you will be able to see me and we can interact as needed. There's also a camera over my demo area so that you will have the best view in the class. You will also get a close-up view of stitching demos with pre-recorded short videos as I demo on my machine. I hope you will join me in an upcoming class. Have a look at my website, Hissy Fitz Designs. Once you have made a decision on what kind of fun we can have together, simply click on the Add to Cart button. You can download the supply list from my website. A few days before the class, I'll send you a Zoom link and PDFs of the class handouts, so you will have plenty of time to print them out prior to the class. Again, my name is Sandy Fitzpatrick. I hope to see you in a future class. If you have any questions, send me an email at sandy@hissyfitsdesigns.com.
Thank you, Sandy. Next, we will hear from Sheila Frampton-Cooper.
Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Sheila Frampton-Cooper, and I'm really happy to share with you all of the workshops that are available online and the upcoming live workshops that I have. I currently have 2 workshops that are on demand. The first one is dyeing solid color fabric and surface design. Over the years, I have dyed hundreds of yards of fabric, and I have developed a process that's both efficient and very easy to do in small spaces. This is a great workshop if you've ever wanted to dye fabric, but you've been intimidated by all the chemicals and all the different things that you need. I actually break all of that down, give you PDFs that you can print out and have at your disposal, and provide numerous videos with several techniques, everything from how I dye my solid color fabric efficiently, because I like to do large quantities at one time, and also getting into surface design, painting and texturing your fabric so that you have unique pieces to use either in your quilts or for wearables. The next workshop that I offer online now is something I'm really excited about, and it's a 12-month course. It's the Improv Block of the Month. In this workshop, every month, students receive 2 guides from me. And I say guides and not patterns because they're meant just to be a guide, to really get you started and to set you free. And I want to share with you some of the work that the students are doing. Some of them are following the guide closely and making little changes, and others are going in a completely different direction. Now you can actually begin this course at any time. There's no pressure to keep up with other students, and you won't miss anything. I also offer a variety of live 3-day and 5-day courses. I want to share with you now some of the work of my students, which I'm so hugely proud of. Thank you so much for watching, and to learn more about my workshops, visit fiberartworkshops.art, and to view descriptions of the live workshops that will be coming up, please visit zoombaby.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a wonderful holiday season. Be safe.
Thanks, Sheila. Next, we will hear from Cindy Grisdela.
Hi, I'm Cindy Grisdela from Reston, Virginia. I'm an artist, a teacher, and the author of Artful Improv. I'm pleased to offer on-demand classes online that you can take in your PJs if you want to, on your own schedule. I specialize in improvisational designs without patterns or templates and using color effectively in your quilts. Let's look at the 3 classes that I currently have available. Artful Improv is my signature class, and it's now available to individuals on demand. Work through the lessons on your own or do them with a friend or in a small group. You can get feedback from me in a discussion area or by email through the platform. Even share photos of your progress. There is also a live add-on to this class for a small additional fee. In this class, we learn 5 improv techniques to create your own original quilt, from scraps to improv design. There's no pattern, there's no rules, and it's a lot of fun to create improvisationally. To sign up, go to cindygrisdela.com/online learning. The second class is Improv Intro. In this class, we'll learn how to make improv blocks, angled stripes, and curved borders. Those 3 techniques. You can use the techniques to make the quilt that you see on your screen, or you can put them together in your own way. This is a more directed class than the Artful Improv class. Although it's not technically an improv quilt, my Fire and Ice Bargello is very popular. It's a fun class to use value to create an interesting graphic design. Use black and white and bright, or choose your own color story. If you'd like to learn more about my work and my offerings, please visit my website at cindygrisdela.com, where you can get information about my lectures and workshops, my blog, my teaching schedule, and other things. Also, follow me on Instagram at Cindy Grisdela Quilts, where I share my work in progress. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in class.
Thank you, Cindy. Next up is Jane Haworth.
Hi and welcome. I am Jane Haworth. I'm here to promote my online on-demand workshop called Love of Pets. So if you're creative, you like art, you love fabric and quilting, and you love your pets, and who doesn't, well, this is the class for you. It includes 90 plus minutes of video, step-by-step instructions, close-ups of my works in progress, and also many of my completed works. So what I do, I'll take you through the steps of choosing the perfect photograph, and who doesn't have many to choose from, making your pattern from the enlargement. We go through the fabric collage technique, and eventually, and hopefully, you end up with a quilt, something like the one behind me. So this class is suitable for all levels, and I'll say now, it is a pretty addictive technique. So if you want to have a go, check out coursecraft.net, Love of Pets.
This is my workshop, Love of Pets Fabric Collage. It is an on-demand workshop, which means once you sign up, you have access to it 24/7, whenever you like. There is no time pressure or time limits. It's yours forever, so work on it at your own pace. Included are about 14 lessons, including selecting fabrics, choosing the correct photo, free motion quilting, gallery of work, and a free PDF pattern. Here are some examples of my work. Here you can see my fabric collage technique. I'm using glue rather than fusible to hold those layers together. Eyes are the most important part, so I have a whole chapter called It's All About the Eyes. Again, here's some close-up photos. You can see my technique. This is putting in the highlight on the nose. Noses can be tricky, so I have a whole chapter on those also. I like to show many photographs of before and after. And then I have a chapter on selecting the perfect background. So here's a few examples of student work that they've done since the summer. Haven't they done a great job? This is a great example too. So I've had many testimonials. People get hooked by the technique and are very happy to learn this new technique. It's addictive. So on my website, you'll see this link, which will take you to CourseCraft. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Now we'll hear from Rene Martinez.
Hello, I'm Rene Martinez. I am a designer, pattern writer, teacher, entrepreneur, and owner of The Craft Table. I love to share my passion for creating with others, and The Craft Table is that happy place where I get to do just that. While I love to see makers gathered around our table here in Orlando, I am also thrilled that we have this opportunity to offer the same workshops to individuals virtually online on the CourseCraft platform. The workshops are offered in an online, on-demand style, which means you can work in your own space, at your own pace, which gives you the ability to pause, rewind, fast forward, and rewatch the lessons as many times as you'd like. You can find out more regarding me and the Craft Table on the websites, or go directly to our CourseCraft landing page, where you will find a list of available workshops as we continue to update the offerings regularly. Fabric collage has been a very popular workshop and really lends itself well to the online learning platform. As a certified Laura Heine instructor, I explain all you need to know about her technique and process from beginning to end while making her sewing machine wall quilt. The process can then be applied to any of her wide range of collage patterns or to your own design. These, what I call Happy Flower EPP blocks, are the perfect gateway to English paper piecing and applique. The blocks themselves are simply constructed with 4 hexagons and 1 square, then appliqued onto fabric, which makes it a great choice for those who are unsure about the EPP technique. While the blocks themselves are simple, they offer a wide range of design options, which appeals to beginners and non-beginners alike. The workshop will go over the basics of glue basting, thread basting, hand and machine applique, as well as all the instructions to make over 7 projects with these beautiful blocks. I designed this Peaceful Whimsy embroidery pattern to teach my students hand embroidery as a fun alternative to the more traditional embroidery samplers out there. The design was so well received that I also sell it as a standalone pattern and kit. The online workshop includes a PDF copy of the pattern. In the workshop, we will go over all the stitches that are mentioned in the pattern, as well as more advanced stitches that are not included in the pattern. This makes a great class for beginners and experienced stitchers alike. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have before, during, or after you've taken a workshop. In addition to the detailed lessons, all of my workshops include a Q&A and show and tell portion. I also like to schedule periodic live Zoom sessions to answer questions and to foster a creative community. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you in class.
Thanks, Renee. Next up is Jenny Kae Parks.
Hi, I'm Jenny Kae Parks, and I'll bet you've heard this around your guild or maybe even from yourself. Comments like, I only buy the kit because I get too frustrated picking out fabrics. Or, my cousin is such a better designer than I am. She can pick out fabrics and I just can't do it. And you know what? In my experiences as a quilt shop employee, as a teacher and a designer, these are some of the most common things that people say. They're frustrated with color and they don't know how to handle it. So that's why I designed the Quilters Color course. This course will help you to move past your fears. See what color really does. Confidently choose colors for any project. The videos and exercises explain the concepts and help you to try them for yourself. Also included are bonus exercises and recommendations of some of my favorite resources. And once you purchase the beginner course, it is yours forever, including any improvements in the future. Want something more interactive? Throughout the year, you can join the Zoom group where we work through each lesson together. If you want to know more about me, or more about the color course, or want to see what other people have to say about it, be sure to check out my website, jennykquilts.com.
Thank you, Jenny Kae. Now let's welcome Scarlett Rose.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Rose. I've been sewing since I was a child. My favorite technique is making my own bias tape. It's something that I have developed with my own methods, and I'd love to teach you how to do this through Zoom. I'm collecting email addresses of those who are interested in learning the techniques that I have to offer, and I'm also going to have classes online on Coursecraft. I use my bias tape for Celtic knotwork, all my own original drawings that I do, and you can use bias tape for a lot more than just that. That's one of the things you'll learn in my class. Bias tape can be used on garments, and it doesn't have to be all cotton either. This way it can be put on all kinds of things, wash and wear, as well as using it for a quilt, art quilt, modern quilt, traditional quilt, whatever type of applique. If you want a bias tape, you'll be able to make something appropriate. So this first class I'm going to do on Course Craft is called So Make It Bias 101, and you'll learn my favorite method, all the little tips and tricks to get the perfectly even bias that you see here. You'll learn about the differences in fabrics, how they look when they're cut up, and also what other kinds of fabrics besides cotton you can use to make bias tape. I've designed my own foundation paper piecing technique that I call a modular style. These are just some examples of some of the blocks that I have in that, and that's another class that I want to have on Course Craft or teach through Zoom for those of you that are interested. Dragon scale rings. I love doing paper piecing designs that look like they're circular but are just straight line. This is the second in a series. The first was a traditional double wedding ring, and I'd love to teach those as well. As you can see, this is how my class samples look. This is Follow the Wind in process. And my contact information is SROSEQLTER@gmail.com. I'm Scarlett Rose Designer on Instagram. You can follow me there. I'm also on Facebook at Scarlett Rose Celtic and More. And my main website is www.scarlettrose.com. Just let me know if you're interested in any of my classes, or if you have an idea for a group of friends or whoever you may want to take a class with. I'd love to put something together special for a Zoom class. And again, I'll be doing different types of classes on Course Craft.
Thank you, Scarlett. Next up is Tammy Silvers.
Hi, I'm Tammy Silvers of Tamarini's, and I'd like to invite you to come stitch with me. Come on into my studio. Let's talk fabric. Let's stitch up beautiful things. But of course, in a safe and friendly environment. Of course, I'm talking about online classes. I do hope you'll come visit my website and find the variety of online classes that I have to offer. Want to learn guided improv? I've got you covered. Looking for something small and fun? Want to learn a new technique? I've got a few of those. Looking to bust that scrap stash and maybe make something giftable? I happen to have a class for that as well. You'll be able to choose from live classes, starting practically immediately, and then coming later this spring, some on-demand classes that you can take over and over again at your own schedule. So I do hope you'll visit me on my website, www.tamarinis.com. Check out my classes, and I look forward to seeing you in my studio very soon.
Thank you, Tammy. Claudia Squio is our next presenter.
How about having so much fun using your fabric in a different way? Gluing instead of sewing. Yes, you heard right. I'm talking about gluing fabric and making unique and beautiful fabric boxes and other fabric projects that are so easy and fun to make, and they are all great handmade gifts. This is cartonnage, the traditional technique of making boxes out of cardboard, fabric, and glue. And I'm Claudia Squio, a cartonnage teacher and designer from Colorway Arts. This technique is so popular in other countries like France, Japan, Brazil, and so many others. And it is spreading very well here in the US since I started sharing my passion for making these boxes a few years ago. Today, I have taught many local classes, and I have an online cartonnage school with thousands of students all around the world. I have free classes, and I also have the Cartonnage Club. That is a membership program that you can learn a lot, make lots and lots of beautiful projects, handmade gifts that you'll be so proud of yourself, and you're gonna have so much fun making. Learning online is a great way to learn the new skills, make wonderful projects in the comfort of your house, feeling like if you are right next to me. You know, my cameras have great angles so you can see in much details. Today I'm here to invite you to join our Cartonnage Club. When you're a member of the club, you'll have so many benefits. First of all, you're gonna have access to lots of complete online courses showing so many details how to make wonderful projects. And you can start from the scratch, like you can cut your own chipboard, poster board, and all the papers that are needed for the project. Or you can start from the do-it-yourself kits that are available in my shop. And as a member, you always have discount to buy do-it-yourself kits and supplies. More than that, as a member, you are part of the rewards program. So you can get the discounts and you can get points for every dollar spent. Another thing that is very important, when you are a member, you are a part of a community. You can be connected with the other members from all around the world. We have monthly virtual meetings that are so fun. We have always show and tell, answer questions. And I also want to tell you that the club is really dynamic. I'm always adding new content, and I hope you join us in the club. For more information, you can always go to my website and contact me, and I will love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope to see you inside the club. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Claudia. Next, we will hear from Lisa Shepard Stewart.
Hi, I'm Lisa Shepard Stewart of culturedexpressions.com, and African fabrics are my passion. Whether it's the more familiar prints that we're used to seeing, cotton prints like these, or whether it's something a little more special like these African batiks that I import from Ghana, West Africa. I'd like to tell you about our two classes that are available virtually at this time. The first is the Ankara string quilt behind me, and while it's a basic quilt-as-you-go technique, what we teach you here is really how to make the fabrics work together. A lot of times people get a little bit intimidated about how to put the fabrics together with so many colors and patterns working together, so we kind of show you how to create that look of organized chaos, which is what we like to call it. In this class, you'll also learn about alternate fabrics for the borders. I like to use upholstery fabrics, and you'll learn why in the class. We also offer you 2 different backing and binding methods, and then we give you about 8 different projects, aside from the wall hanging itself, 8 different projects and ways to use the blocks and ways to use this look. So it's a really full, all-encompassing class. Our second class that's available, this is available on demand for individuals, which means you purchase the class and you can go back in anytime at 2 in the morning if you don't want to sleep. You feel like creating, and you just go and you can access the videos at any time on demand. And then it's also available for guilds and groups as a live class. Same is true for our little class here. It's a fat quarter pocket pouch made from a fat quarter of fabric. In this class, you'll learn how to make the little pouch itself with the outside pocket. It's a matter of folding. Most importantly, you'll learn how to put a zipper in. A lot of people do have zipper phobia, apparently, and this, I'm told, is really a great cure for it. I have a very simple way of putting in a zipper. People love that. You also learn how to do a beaded zipper pull. So it's a nice little, again, quick little project that you'll love to make for gifts, and it's a lot of fun. In basically any fabric you choose, they look great. We also offer virtual trunk shows for guilds, and we also offer virtual visits where you can actually shop the studio here at Rahway, New Jersey. You can shop by Zoom session or by Google Duo or WhatsApp video phone call apps, and you can actually shop the studio in that way, whether you're far away from Rahway or whether you just prefer to shop from home. And in the future, we're looking at adding, actually for, say, Spring 21, we're looking at adding a handbag clinic and also a class called Pillow Perfection. So we hope you'll join us. Again, you can find us at culturedexpressions.com for any of the details I've given you here, or you can email me, lisa@culturedexpressions.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Lisa. Next up is Laura Strickland.
Hello, I'm Laura Strickland, and I own and operate Orange Blossom Quilt Design Studio. I'm here to show you some offerings we have for classes virtually through our website. If you'd like more information about the classes we are offering after this video, you can visit our website at orangeblossomquilt.com. If you have any further questions or would like to get in touch with us, you can email me at orangeblossomquilt@gmail.com, or there is a contact form on the website and I can be reached at that as well. I'd like to tell you about several of the classes we are offering virtually. Once you sign up for the class and have paid the fee for the class, you will receive a Zoom invitation for an appointment for the time of the class, as well as a supply list. Additional purchases of a book or pattern may be required to attend the class. So let's talk about the classes. We first have a collage applique class that's in the Laura Hine technique. It's going to be a 4-session class, which means we'll meet 4 times, and the cost of the class will be $80. We recommend and require that you purchase the Laura Hine Little Book of Collage to go along with the class. Secondly, we have a foundation paper piecing class where we will use Corinne Savoy's Hocus Pocus, our Christmas cheer pattern, as a block of the month. We will discuss foundation paper piecing and do lots of fun fabric selections. This will be a 6-session class and will cost $60, and you'll have your quilt completed before the holidays. Our third virtual session that we have available is called Mod Squad, and it is a 12-session class. The cost of the class will be $120. At the end, you will have 100 blocks to put together a modern sampler quilt, but you'll also have a better understanding of color theory, design concepts, and artistic elements to take your quilting to the next level. We look forward to seeing you in our classes, and we hope that you have enjoyed our video. If you have any other questions, please contact us and check back regularly as more classes will be added. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Our last teacher in this presentation is Debbie Wendt.
Hi, I'm Debbie Wendt of Wendt Quilting. Before COVID, you could find me vending and teaching at national quilt shows. Now, I too have turned to Zoom and teaching online. I started teaching home economics right after college in 1984 and turned to quilting as a hobby when 1/4-inch seams were more relaxing than making clothes. I began teaching quilting when I lived in Cairo, Egypt, to expats and Sudanese refugees. In 2007, I designed Brilliant Bindings. And first class, Become a Brilliant Binder, still my most popular. In this class, you'll learn perfect mitered corners and the no-fuss finish of those binding tail-end seams. Plus, options for sewing bindings by hand and machine. I focus on the basics for learning the foundations for a jumping-off point. Next is Twirl-A-Tool, my most popular pattern and guild class. You don't have to be in a guild to join the fun of this class or any of my classes. We'll use Brilliant Bindings to cut the trapezoids and a bonus of the faux piped binding to add a pop of color to the edge of this quilt. My latest tools are Hexamajig and Hexamajig Junior. These are used to make the flower garden, HexiFun placemats and mug rugs, and baby blocks. Hexamajig Junior is used in this class called Why Not? Understanding and Sewing a Set-In Seam. No, they are not difficult, but gives you another tool in your quilt knowledge tool belt. If you prefer hand sewing, Hexies and Honeycombs is for you. I think you will get excited about using paper pieces, relax with hand sewing, and playing with fussy cutting fabric. For the newbies or those wanting a great refresher, piecing is the cornerstone. 3 fat quarters make this table runner. And another beginner option, done by 3. 12 fat quarters make this quilt that looks great in any fabric combination. And finally, I come full circle with my class, teaching quilting and sewing to the next generation. This class is for you and your young sewer. And then there'll be others for them once they know the basics. Look for these after the first of the year. Visit my website at wendtquilting.com for the latest dates and classes. I'll continue to expand my Zoom classroom. Thank you for your consideration, and let's have fun sewing and quilting together.
Thank you, Debbie. We have a minute or a bunch of minutes to answer some questions. I have one question to start out with. So teachers, get your hand waving ready for me. What is the definition of an online sorry, not online, they're all online, a definition of an on-demand class? I can hear you now.
So my classes are available on demand, as in whenever you want to take them. I have a website, and once you've joined, you can just access the classes whenever you like, 24/7. So they're online. They're in the once you join, you get a library of classes, and you can pick from those to take whichever classes you want to take whenever. So I've got two ways of doing that. One is a class where you can buy that class and go into it at any time you like. And the other way is to join my membership, which you can join monthly or annually. And then you get access to all of my classes whenever you like.
That sounds great, Sheila Christensen. Sheila Frampton-Cooper, what is your answer for us?
Yes, it's, pretty much the same. But my dye workshop, and some of these workshops, they are on demand, which means you can watch anytime and you can go back to it and, watch it while you're actually doing something, and also have lifetime access. So you can go back for refreshers and all of that. And then live classes, which I'm doing 3-day and 5-day 6-hour classes. And I have figured out ways to really incorporate as much as possible the personal experience and my way to give critiques and feedback. So there's that option for certain things like the dyeing fabric and the block of the month, because many of the students are going back and rewatching those videos. So I feel there's a benefit to the two, to have the option to go back to it, but then there's no replacement for live interaction.
Thank you so much, Sheila. I know I want to be in one of those classes.
We have a question that just posted on YouTube. How far ahead do we need to book classes? Will these be available in 2021 as well?
Okay, let's have Lisa chat with us, and then any of you other teachers, I'll be watching.
Okay, I just had one more thought about the on-demand definition. I sometimes tell my students or customers, if you think about it like an on-demand movie, like when you have movies on demand or entertainment and you purchase it, you can always go back to it the same way. The other thing I like about the on-demand classes that I'm doing is that I can also go and update. I can add things to it. I can edit the videos if I'd like to, or add new things based on the question. So it really is a live kind of a thing. It's nice that you have that ability to go back and add things. And when I do that, I'll send an email to the students that have already purchased the class so they can stay up to date too.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. That's awesome. Kathie Beltz, your turn. And then Anna Buzzalino will be next.
In regard to scheduling classes, I know I've got a certain schedule. I've got a class in December. I've got one in January. I've got it in February. And I think most teachers that are doing live classes will schedule ahead of time. And you should plan for that. You should plan to get your supply list and then go out and maybe get whatever you need to get for your class. A lot of teachers offer kits, so you have to allow for shipping of those kits. So don't wait till the last minute to sign up. As soon as you find something that you're interested in, definitely sign up for it. But I know we're all adding to our schedules all the time. So just keep checking the newsletters, sign up for every teacher's newsletter, check the websites and check what schedules they're offering. They're constantly going to be updating.
Thank you so much, Kathie. Anna.
Similar to what Kathie just said, I book I list my classes online under online classes on my website. I try to do it 2, 3, even 4 weeks ahead. So I'm about to list December classes. Sometimes I book 2 of the same class. Depending on what the class is, there is a supply list. I have a couple of demo classes for which I just do a demo, so you do not need any supplies. For the ones that offer kits, which are optional. Once again, please allow time for the kits to arrive because I'm shipping from Canada. If I ship within Canada, it can take 1, 2, 3 a week, depending on what shipping rate you choose. To the States, I've been very successful lately with shipping, but again, that depends on the postal service. So once again, I will be booking my classes repeat. So if you don't see it for December, stay tuned for January. If you subscribe to my website, you will receive my posts by email, so you won't have to keep checking back on my website.
Thank you so
I
much.
hope that helps.
It's all you now, Cindy.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. So I just wanted to say that the classes I teach live Zoom classes for guilds and groups, and I'm happy to set those up if you have a group that would like to do that. The classes that I referenced today are on-demand classes that are set up on a course platform, and so you can take them as individuals and sign up for them at any time. They're always available to you. There's no schedule, and you can do them on your own, or you can convince some friends to sign up with you. And I had a group that had a ton of fun. There was 5 women from all over the United States, and they signed up for one of my on-demand classes and scheduled their own time to meet and did them together. And so the really wonderful thing about the classes that are posted on the on-demand platform is that you can sign up for them, you can download them and take them at your own pace. You can go back and watch the videos over and over again if you want to. So I do that 2 different ways. Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. I have a quick question for you all, teachers. Who would like to answer? Is anybody offering something that's not a workshop? Is anybody offering retreats or lectures that individuals can sign up for? Tara.
Yeah, I just actually announced a retreat yesterday or the day before with Madeline Island School of the Arts, and we've taken it online. It was supposed to be in person, so it's a 3-day retreat with a meet and greet the day before and a follow-up the week after. So it's 3 days. We're going to do color, form, shape, value, just cover a bunch of subjects over a period of 3 days, which is amazing. So if you want information on that, contact me, sign up for my newsletter, and that's how you'll get all the information. And as far as booking ahead, I have just found that in general, the bookings we don't book a year out. I've been booking more like 3 to 4 months out because we don't have to do the travel plans. So that has changed. But that being said, I'm fully booked through February. So if you want, it's just for people who are watching this, it is important to think about that you don't have to book quite as far ahead, but you do want to book a little bit ahead.
Right. And some teachers, I know most of us in normal times book 2 years out. So don't wait too long. All right. I saw Patricia.
Thank you. So at Oaken Arts, we're doing something different than a class or a workshop. We're doing a once a month chat, and it's a 1-hour free Zoom interview. Last week, we were in San Francisco talking to Joe Cunningham. In December, we'll be in Chicago talking to Sarah Nishiyura, and we're working on a pretty dynamic lineup. It's just fun, and it's free. So if you think you'd like to go to these people's studios and see what they have to say about what they're doing, go to the Oaken Arts website and join our friends list, and you will get an invitation each month to register for free for our chats. Thanks.
That sounds really cool. All right. And notice that when you go to each of these teachers' websites, remember to go back to globalquiltconnection.com, and in the students looking for open enrollment courses, you can get a full spreadsheet of all the teachers, not only for this webinar, but for the previous and the upcoming ones with clickable links. Go to their websites, sign up for their newsletters if there's somebody that you really want to take a class from, because all of us are adding things as we go. You would not believe how much work it takes to get an online class up. So we can't do them all at once. So we're always adding and growing. And I'm going to do a shameless plug. Go watch the last thing. I've got a 5-day retreat coming up in February that I'm really excited about. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So related to cartonnage, that is a different technique that the other teachers are talking today. Well, I have several different ways in my website. So I have free courses that teach, simple projects that you can start learning the technique. I also, we want to start lectures and workshops for quilt guilds. That will be my next one now in December. I just finished last Saturday a wonderful online cartonnage retreat, which was international. I had people from 5 or 6 different countries. It was really lots of fun. So in the club that I just invite you today, it is a membership program, and I close and open sometimes during the year, depends on the date, because we need to, I kind of like to focus on new members and add new content. It's very dynamic when we have virtual meetings and a lot of other things. So it really depends. So I really invite you to go to my website and see what is available. Okay. And any questions, I'm always ready to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. And I love that we've got something a little bit different than traditional quilting included here. Here's a really fun thing. Somebody in the comments said, get together 2 or 3 of your friends. So if they weren't watching with you right now, send them a link to the YouTube recording, but get a couple friends, say, look at these 3 teachers, and then let's choose a class to sign up for together. Even if it's an instant access on-demand class, sign up for it together and then schedule a Zoom together and share your process or work through it together. Do any of the teachers have something they want to add to that?
So I do have other classes like Lyric said and other people said, I'm adding as I go. You kind of build and you add on each time, because it is a lot of heavy lifting to get it started. But the other thing that I wanted to say too, to the person who asked about, do we have other lectures and other workshops and whatnot that we offer? As far as other lectures, I've been doing something that I feel like people right now need connection. They need something outside of their home and to still feel connected with people, and especially with quilters. So I've been doing Facebook Lives almost every weekday. On Monday, I have Motivation Monday, which is encouragement and kind of how do you work through a process, or, how do you get rid of UFOs, that kind of thing. And Technique Tuesday, Work Basket Wednesday, where it's just a virtual quilting bee. We all just come and work on our own projects and chat back and forth. And then Color Theory Thursday and Free Motion Friday. And I just have those. They're usually pretty short and sweet, except for Work Basket Wednesday, which is a couple hours. But they're short and sweet. We have a little conversation. I do a little demo or something along those lines, and then that's it. So like I said, those are free, and I'll keep doing them for a while here while I feel like people need to connect. And then I'm kind of adding my own classes in as we go. Like, for example, a lot of people are asking for binding. So I'm doing a binding workshop that's this weekend. So it's kind of a little different format. Not everything is behind the paywall, but I really want to connect with quilters. I think people are needing connections and encouragement and happiness, happy fabric at this point in their lives, at this point in the world right now. So I just wanted to, that's something I'm doing for the quilting community.
That's perfect. Teachers, I have a question for you. You all have been teaching online for a while now, right? You've had the chance to work through this, work through all the issues, work through there's always a technical glitch, right? And we have backups for those, and backups for our backups, and backups for those, and all the emergency planning we can do. But there are some really amazing things about being able to connect together online. Which one of you wants to tell us about some of the real positives for teaching together online? Tammy, I don't think you've had a chance to say anything, and then Jane.
So in my online workshops and online classes, one of the positives that has come out of people taking classes online is, and I think someone said it in their video, there's no bad seat, right? Everybody has that front row seat. Everyone has a very clear picture of what you're doing, and using the 2-camera system where you've got a face to face, and then you've got the overhead. They oftentimes can see it better because it's zoomed in than maybe in a live class, because in a live class, I don't know about y'all, I am a little height challenged. So if I get behind someone that's taller than me, I can't see what the teacher is doing, but you've got that ability to see that right there on the screen without any hindrance. And I think folks are really appreciating that. The other awesome thing, and this isn't obvious, but I'm just going to say it, is you're taking this class in your own sewing space, which is your most comfortable place, right? You're not having to lug a machine. Your machine's not at the wrong height. The chair's not too high, too low, too cold, too hard, whatever. And all of your supplies are right there.
Thank you, Tammy. Jane.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that last week I was doing a lecture for a group of quilters in Bristol in England. So not far from where I grew up. So that was something very cool that I probably would never have had the chance to do, before this. In one of my classes, I had a student from Oman. So I'd actually met her when I was teaching in Dubai in February. And so she found out I was teaching online, so she could join in that class. So, things turn around that you would never think would have been possible.
Isn't it cool? I know I have had live classes where I had students from California all through the States, plus Canada and London, all in the same class. Of course, some of them are falling asleep and some of them it's still dark in the morning, but we can do this.
Sure. Going back to your question about one of the positive things about connecting with people online is that for me right now here in Norway, it's almost midnight, and I'm a bit of a night owl anyway, so I've been getting questions from guilds. Is it okay? Can you still work with our time zone? And my answer is a resounding yes, because this is when I like to work anyway. So it's been very good for me so far.
Thank you, Daisy. I think it would be cool to virtually head over across the water and take a class.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to most everyone's made the same comment about how great it is to have the online classes, especially if it's on demand where you can pause it, rewind it, watch it as many times as you want to and get up close. But what's great, I think, as well about that is when you're, you also can then have the live Zoom show and tell and question and answer later on. And so you get the chance to work in your own space, which is what I like. When I go to a workshop, I love the socialization and learning from the teacher. But then I do my best work when I'm by myself in my own sewing room where I'm not distracted by other people. But then, we get to come together with the Zoom aspect as well. And then one thing that I found, I had opened the craft table here in Orlando not too long before the pandemic. So great timing on my part. But it was great. We were doing classes all together around a table. And so I missed that. But the advantage of doing this online is I'm able to have people in class that would not normally be in Orlando to take a class. So, get the whole international flair going.
All right, teachers, in our last 3 or 4 minutes, is there any parting words of wisdom, especially if you haven't had a chance to speak up yet? Debbie and then Sandy.
Thank you. I just want to say we've seen a lot of different techniques. We've seen a lot of advanced techniques also. And I think it's important to not forget the beginners. I love to encourage beginners. And I think with all the teachers here, we've all been at that beginner spot. So don't be afraid to step out, maybe take something that you usually don't have. And also, too, is learn those basic skills. And it's a great jumping off point for you then to do some of the more advanced, what we call advanced techniques. Thanks.
Thanks, Debbie. Sandy, I called you the wrong name. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine. I agree with Debbie about the beginning classes, because some of us do have beginner classes, so that you will feel a lot at ease, more comfortable in these classes. Also, one of the things that I wanted to say about taking live Zoom classes is that we are interacting with you the whole time. You can ask the questions. You can hold up your little design to us or whatever you're working on and say, I'm having a problem right here. Can you explain what this is? That's one of the things that I found in my classes that's really great, that students can interact and get the answers that they need right then. One of the other advantages that I found, and this may seem obvious, we are so used to wearing masks everywhere. It is so nice to see everybody without a mask on and to be able to interact with people and just enjoy your faces.
I agree. Second that motion. Although, wear your mask anytime you go out of your house. Don't forget that. But on Zoom, we don't have to. Let Sue and I remind you that the globalquiltconnection.com website has a whole host of resources. There are 5 other webinars that have all different teachers, everyone, that they're geared towards guilds, but a lot of those teachers also do on-demand classes or in the open enrollment classes. And you could always watch those if you find somebody that you adore and go to your guild program chair and say, we want this person. They teach virtually. Let's do a thing. It will be fabulous. So finally, all teachers, let's wave goodbye to all our lovely, lovely quilters. We love our quilters. We love you. We love being with you. Stay safe, be well, and happy quilting. You can find recordings of previous Meet the Teacher webinars on this YouTube channel, as well as at globalquiltconnection.com. There you can also download information for all of the teachers with their email and website links. Thank you for watching. Sue Bleiweiss is the mastermind behind this webinar, and my name is Lyric Montgomery Kennard. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and you can see upcoming webinars as well. Thanks. Stay safe, be well, and keep quilting.